In this first exercise for this chapter, we're going to play a little question and answer game. The question is, what is the name of the computer that played on Jeopardy? And the answer is Watson. Let me take you through the playing of the game and then we'll go write the code. So we're going to go right into the program itself and run it. I've already compiled it and we'll rewrite it here in just a moment. So we have a prompt. Let's play a guessing game. You get 3 tries. What was the name of the computer that played Jeopardy? For this first scenario, let's assume that we know the answer and we type in Watson. The program responds by saying that's right and that's all. Let's run it again, and this time let's type in an incorrect answer, Bob. Then it says, sorry, guess again. This time we'll try Watson. And it says that's right. So let's run it again. This time we'll say Bob. Guess again. This time we'll say ENIAC. That's the name of another famous computer, one of the first computers. Still not right. One more guess. Watson, that's right. Now let's do it one more time, and this time let's get it wrong all 3 times. Bob, George, Jane. Wrong again. The answer is Watson. So that's how the game is played. Now let's go through how to write the code to play the game. So I've put up a skeleton program importing the scanner class, and now we're ready to start. First thing we're going to do is create a scanner object. So just like we've been doing, we'll create that. Next we need a variable that stores the answer to the question. So we'll write string answer and it's Watson. Then we need another string variable to store the response from the user. So we'll declare that and assign it the empty string just to make sure that it's got some initial data in it. Now we're going to write out the first prompt. Let's play a guessing game. You get 3 tries. And then this will be the prompt for the question. What was the name of the computer that played on Jeopardy? You get the response from the user. Input.next line is how we do that. Now we begin with our first if statement. Now, contrary to what I've said before, where it's best to use if, else if when possible, it's not always possible to use if, else if. Sometimes you have to use a series of nested ifs. A lot of programs start off with an if, and then if one thing happens, then the program stops. Otherwise, you have a long else that runs the rest of the program. And that's kind of what we have here. Because if the user gets the answer right on the first try, we don't have to do anything else. Otherwise, we have to ask them to guess again. And if they get it wrong the second time, we have to ask them to answer a 3rd time. So we're really going to have one if statement with 2 nested ifs underneath it. So here we go. So we write, if response equals answer, you'll notice I've used something different here, the equals method with a string. Java strings do not like the equality operator, the double equal sign. They want you to use the equals method that's part of the string class. So that's what we're going to do right here. So we're going to write if response.equals answer, system out print line. That's right, and that's all we have to do. We're finished. Else, we need to tell the user, sorry, that's wrong. So we do that and ask them to guess again, and then we get their response with an input.next line. At this point, we check a second time. So we can actually copy this code from up here rather than have to type it in again. So we'll just copy that, paste it right in. If it's wrong, then we need another else, and then we're going to prompt a 3rd time. One more guess, let them know that that's our last chance to try. We can copy this whole section right here. Copy and paste is a wonderful thing. Make sure we get our indentation right. Now finally, for this 3rd guess, if it's wrong, we don't have to have a long block. We just need one statement. The answer is Watson. Maybe the hardest part of this whole program is making sure that we get all of our closing curly braces to close our blocks right. So line up with the else's. That's how you do it. Lining up with this else right here. Then drop down. That's why I use a very systematic indentation scheme so that it's easy to line up. I use a 3-space indentation scheme. Some people use 2, some people use tabs. Whatever you want to use as long as you're consistent. But by using indentation, I can easily line up my closing braces with my opening clauses to make sure that I get the blocks correct. So that all looks like it's lined up correctly. Let's save the program. Go back to our DOS prompt. Let's clear the screen. Oops, I forgot the .java. There we go. And it's right. Let's run it one time just to make sure you've already seen how the program runs. We'll run it. Let's get the answer wrong twice, and then we'll do it right on the third one. Okay, and that looks correct. So once again, there's the program, and you'll notice that we have one if statement that pretty much runs the program, controls it. If we're right, then we stop, because we would drop out of the if statement at the end. If we're wrong on the first guess, then we get prompted again, and we test again. If we're right, we print right and we drop out. Otherwise, we have another else. We prompt a third time. If we're right, we print it out. Otherwise, we print out it's wrong, and that leads us to the end of the program. And like I said, many programs are based around a opening if to determine whether to do one thing or do something else. And usually the true response is quite short, and the false response is quite a bit longer. And that wraps up this first exercise. In the next video, we're going to look at another exercise where we definitely use if, else if, and we're going to create a very simple calculator.